Hi, welcome to episode 4 of ThinkJunos. Today we're going to be configuring our EX2200 to get on the network. This is the topology I have cabled up right now. You'll see my laptop connected via console cable. We're still managing this over the serial connection. My laptop is also connected up to my home network over Ethernet. That goes to my core SRX 210 switch. And then from my 210, I have two cables connected to our EX2200. I have one cable running to the out-of-band management port, and I have another cable running to Gigabit Ethernet 000. The networks we're going to set up today, we're going to configure the management Ethernet port to be 10.0.1.100. That'll put it on my home network, which is 10.0.1. And then we'll configure VLAN 10, which will be 192.168.10, to be the primary VLAN for our lab on the EX2200. We set up the management Ethernet last time, but we put it in the wrong network. So I'm going to show you how to manage that and how to update it to get it in the right network environment. At the end of today, we should have both of these interfaces set up and pingable and manageable. So let's get to work. Okay, so we're at our EX2200. I'm going to log in as myself. ThinkJunos, bang. All right, we're logged in. So we'll go right into the edit configuration, and we'll do edit interfaces ME0. That's where we want to start. So we'll show that. Okay, so what you see here is we have unit 0. It's a layer 3 interface, IPv4, and it has an address. But we want to change that address because I put it in wrong last time. So a couple ways to do that. You can go about it with the kind of shotgun approach here, and you can just do delete unit 0. And that will kill it, and then you just do another, set unit 0 and put the information back in. Or you can go with a little bit more of a surgical approach, and I do recommend this. The long term that you work on Junos boxes, you'll want to get to know this command that I'm going to use, and it's called rename. And rename allows you to just modify variables inside the configuration very easily without having to remove the entire configuration and redo it. And how you use rename is you want to get to the layer of the hierarchy that you want to work at. So in this case, we're going to do edit unit 0. I'm going to say family inet, and then we'll show. And now you'll see we're just at the address layer of this configuration. Now the command you want to use, if I do a question mark here, the command you want to use is rename. And if you do rename question mark, it's basically going to say, I'm going to look at the line that you're on and give you some options of what you want to rename. And address is where we're at right now. So I'm going to do rename address, and then start typing in the address you have there. And I'm using tabs here because it's auto-completing because that's what's there. The next command you use would be to. And basically you're saying rename this variable to this new variable. So to address, and then this is our new IP, 10.0.1.100/24. So now if we do a show, we see we just updated that variable. So rename is a handy tool when you're going about editing the configuration. So let's go up a couple layers here, and then we do up, we show. Now we're good, we have that interface set up. All right, that's not all we need to do to get this to work quite yet. So I'm going to go top takes us to the very top of the configuration, and I'm going to edit system. So if you remember, system is a subsection of the hierarchy. And system is where you configure how you manage the box. So right now we're still on a serial connection, and we need to get this configured to be able to manage via SSH. So if I do set and question mark, that'll come up, and you'll see one of the many options in here is services. And services is where you enable the management services. So if you do set services question mark, you'll see here these are the options we have. So typically on a box, I recommend you don't use Telnet. I do recommend you use SSH. If you are inclined to use the GUI, the web management, you'll need to enable this here. I will show you JWeb coming up, but I do recommend you get used to and comfortable with the CLI because it's very powerful and you can do a lot of stuff here. So we're going to do set services SSH, and I'll show you this question mark at the end. I would recommend if you're putting this in a production environment that you look at some of these tighter SSH rules, things like connection limit, root logon, rate limit, protocol version. These are things that I would configure if this box was going into production, but since this is just going into the lab, we can just hit enter there. Now if I do a show, you'll see this section right here. It says services SSH. That means now we've enabled SSH and I can connect to this box. So let's do a commit. So we've committed the update address, and we're committing enabling SSH protocol. And once that commits, I'm going to launch my terminal session here. So you'll see I'm connected. This is my laptop here. And let's just try and ping it real quick. 10.0.1.100. Excellent. Now let's SSH to it. SSH Oliver at 10.0.1.100. Great. So now you'll see we are on our box via SSH. So from now on, managing this equipment, we will do it all from an SSH instead of from the serial. So just to save time from moving stuff around here, I am going to close this and go back to the serial connection just to finish up this session. So the next thing I told you we wanted to do was we wanted to configure that VLAN 10, which is going to be our lab VLAN. Now, there's two sections that you have to configure when you configure a VLAN. There's the VLAN interface itself, and then there is the VLAN. So if you do an edit VLAN, this will show you the VLANs that are configured on the box, not the interfaces, just the VLANs themselves. So in here we have default. Default is the standard that comes with the basic build. I'm going to delete default. I don't want it anymore. And I'm going to do a set and question mark. Now the first thing you want to do when you do set is the name of the VLAN. So I'm going to call this lab, uppercase, and question mark. And the next thing we really need here is just the L3 interface. And this is going to tell it which of the physical, I guess you could say virtual or logical interfaces of the VLAN interface is going to be the RVI, the route virtual interface, where the layer 3 interface is going to be. So I'm going to say it's going to be on VLAN unit 10. And I'll show you why I'm doing this. So if I do a show here. Okay, so now we have our VLAN created, VLAN's lab, and it has a layer 3 interface of VLAN.10. All right, now we see the warning there. It says interface must already be defined, so I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to do top and then edit interfaces, VLAN. All right, so now we're in the VLAN interface. Actually, maybe I should go up one level, just show you this real quick. So if I do a show and tab our way all the way to the bottom, you'll see here that there is a VLAN unit 0. I don't really want that. I like to do logical organization in my configuration. So I'm going to do edit VLAN, and I'm going to delete unit 0. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set unit 10. And the reason I use unit 10 is because the VLAN tag I want to use is 10, and that correlates to the network, the third octet that I'm using, 192.168.10.x, and that just helps me remember and be logical about this. All right, and then I'm going to say family inet layer 3 address. We are going to set this up, right? We're going to put an address on this. This is going to be our RVI, so it's going to be 192.168.10.1/24. All right, if I show that, now I've got the VLAN created. It has a layer 3 interface. That part is done. Now that VLAN is ready to be configured on other interfaces. All right, the next thing I want to do, I'm going to go up here. Now we're at the interfaces level. I'm going to edit gigabit Ethernet 000. Now we need to make this interface a part of VLAN 10. So to do that, we can use unit 0, that's fine. You can do set unit 0, family Ethernet switching, and the next command you want to use here is VLAN, and then members. So members is then how you put it in the VLAN. Now, if you hit question mark here, it will look in your candidate configuration. Remember, we have not committed yet. It's looking at the candidate configuration we're using, and it's showing us that we have lab as an option. So I'm going to just type a capital L and then tab, and now lab is set up in there. Okay, so let's show that. Now Gigabit Ethernet 0 is a layer 2 interface with VLAN tagging for VLAN 10. Okay, so now I'm going to commit. I'm actually going to do a commit check first to make sure that everything's good. And when we wait around for that, it comes back, says everything looks good. I am going to now say commit. And now we are committed. So I'm going to exit out. Quit configuration mode, take us back to the main thing, and I'm going to do a show route. So what do we see in our routing table right now? These are active. They've been processed from the candidate configuration into the routing table and then processed into the forwarding table. So what we have here now is we have two networks. We have the 10.0.1, which is our OBB, out of band management, on ME0.0, And we have our main VLAN 10 VLAN, which is 192.168.10, and that is in there as well. And you'll notice that we haven't really talked about how this is organized yet, but just to give you a briefly how it's done, is we see here that this is a local. So this network, this /32, this host IP is local via VLAN 10, and the network, the /24, is local via VLAN 10. If these were not configured properly, or if they weren't up and ready to go, you would see you either would not see them in here, or they would be under, or they would say rejecting or rejected. Okay, the next thing I want to show you, show interface is terse. Remember our match, our handy match command. So I'm going to do match GE-0/0/0. Okay, so now we show that as up. That means that it has the interface is available, and the interface has signal. It's online, cable plugged in, protocol, good to go. I'm also going to do this. I want to match for VLAN. So we'll also see that VLAN 10 is up. Okay, so that's great. We're looking good here. I'm going to go back to this topology real quick and show you. So this is basically what we have set up right now. So theoretically, we haven't tested it yet, so it's still a theory. You should be able to ping from my laptop to 192.168.10.1 across the front-facing Ethernet ports. We've already tested that we can connect to 10.0.1.100 for management. Now we're going to test, see if our VLAN worked. If I can find the right screen. All right. So let me exit out of here. Let's do a ping 192.168.10.1. Excellent. So mission accomplished for getting this configured. We now have access from the local network. We basically installed this. We've taken it off our workbench. We've screwed it into the rack. We've cabled it up, and now it is our switch that we can build off of for the rest of the exercises here. So that's it for today. Appreciate your time. And next time, what we're going to do is we're going to now move from our management Ethernet interface. We'll do all the configurations there. I'm going to show you some configuration management tools, how to use things like rollback and rescue config, and what they are. And then also we're going to do a little bit about trunking interfaces. So that's it. Thank you.